Our spooky story starts with a boy named Home who comes back to his apartment. He belongs to a wealthy family and lives in America. While settling down, he sees on the news that a girl from his building committed suicide, which makes him feel uncomfortable. The doorbell rings all of a sudden. When Home opens the door, he sees a girl dressed like a ghost and instinctively punches her, not realizing she's his girlfriend who is throwing him a surprise Halloween party. Later, Home's girlfriend asks him to go on a trip, but he gets a call from another girl. He lies to his girlfriend that it's about his grandfather's passing, but when his girlfriend grabs his phone, she discovers he was planning a date with someone else. Heartbroken, she dumps him. But Home doesn't mind and resumes partying. Ironically, the thing he lied about becomes true as he receives a call from his uncle Samkid telling him that his grandfather has passed away, leaving poor Home no choice but to reluctantly return to Thailand. Meanwhile, in Thailand, a local chef named Peach struggles with seeing spirits day and night, which affects his work. He visits a temple seeking peace but encounters a ghost. Though terrified, he's somewhat used to spirits. His friend Best, a successful chef, surprises him at the temple. Best recently moved back to town and is buying a house, which makes Peach happy, though Best worries Peach's fear of ghosts holds him back. Peach lives with his sister Pang Pang, an online fashion retailer who loves live streaming. While live streaming one day, Pang Pang unintentionally reveals a ghost lurking outside their window, causing Peach to scream, after which she calms him down. The siblings share a dream of owning a house in spite of their bad luck, as they are constantly harassed by their landlord for rent. At the mansion, Home meets Mr. Yai, the family attorney, and Khan, his strict law book quoting assistant. His uncle hires a bodyguard, Suradek, to protect Home, since he's going to inherit massive properties. Home cracks jokes, frustrating Khan, who can't understand why the folks in this house are so strange, until Aunt Fawn dramatically appears, fussing over the management of the estate. The division of the property begins with a video message from Home's grandfather, Mr. Samai. Uncle Samkid receives a small bungalow, Aunt Fawn receives 3% of the property, but the rest belongs to Home, the only blood relative. Aunt Fawn, being the stepdaughter, erupts in anger, but Suradek escorts her out of the mansion. Home tells Samkid he doesn't need the properties and will sell them and return to America, but his uncle Samkid tells him that this would be difficult as individuals are too scared to purchase them. Home finally discovers why when Khan forces him to view Pang Pang's live stream. Pang Pang and Peach had visited Best's new house, where they discovered a body print that continuously reappears no matter how much Best cleans it. Peach then notices the ghost of an electrician who was killed during construction of this house. The ghost grabs Peach and throws him out of the house. The livestream viewers realize all these haunted houses belong to Mr. Samai, and thus they cannot be sold. Enraged, Home breaks into Peachy's house, insisting that he cancel the publicity stunt. Home even calls in exorcists, but they are scammers who run away when they realize they are dealing with a real ghost. Even Best refuses to buy the house, and Home becomes more and more desperate. Despite all this, Pang Pang delivers a pep talk to Peach, telling him that he is talented and can figure something out. This inspires an idea in Peach. Peach and Best prepare a dish as an offering to the ghost, who merely wanted to finish his last meal. The ghost, finally at peace, eats the meal and disappears, body print going with him. Best then buys the house, and Pang Pang's livestream makes Peach famous as a handsome and intelligent exorcist. Witnessing this, Home remembers what his grandfather used to say: the true knowledge of Home is acquired through the experience of trying to sell the houses. Understanding that he needs someone like Peach, Home intrudes into his house. Peach wakes up in a fright to find Home offering him a deal. If Peach wants cash for buying a house, together they ought to work on selling the haunted houses. Meanwhile, 3 teenagers play around with a Ouija board at an abandoned factory, summoning the ghost of a girl who possesses one of them. The rest make a dash in fright for it. Home takes Peach and Pang Pang to the very factory, scene of the newest haunting, the next day. Khan informs them the factory shut down years earlier as folks believed in a ghost girl haunting it, but Peach sees an old man outside selling ghost kits. The old man explains that 10 years ago there was a girl named Rack who worked at the factory. She stole from the factory, and when she was caught and fired, the shock caused her to commit suicide in one of the rooms. Upon finishing the story, the man tries to peddle them ghost kits, but Pang Pang proudly says her brother is an exorcist, so they do not need any kits. The old man then asks Peach how he plans to exorcise the ghost. Peach replies he doesn't know yet, as he can see ghosts but not exorcise them. He gets an idea: entice the ghost with food. He quickly prepares Rock's favorite dish, a sandwich, and they return to the factory to summon her. Khan waits outside while the others go in. When Peach offers the sandwich, Rack gets furious. All the mannequins in the factory turn to face them, terrifying them as they try to escape. but Rack locks the door, trapping them inside. They scream for help, while Khan, completely calm, casually opens the door and asks why they're so scared. They did come to see the ghost after all. Ignoring her, they all run out. Home argues with Peach, blaming him for delivering a bad sandwich and getting Rack provoked. Peach feels insulted and walked away, saying that he no longer wants to work with Home. Pang Pang nevertheless convinces Peach that while they do not want to work with Home, they must help Rock. To do that, they first must find out why she died. Just then, Rock's mother appears and speaks the truth that Rock was indeed working at the factory with her boyfriend. She was beautiful and hardworking, but the manager accused her of theft and unfairly dismissed her. Peach realizes Rock just wants her reputation back. Meanwhile, Home returns to the factory with Suradek and Khan, bringing expensive food to appease Rock. Rock, however, throws the food at them in a rage and scares them out of the factory. While they are making their escape, Khan notices Rock's locker and finds love letters from Rock's boyfriend. At the mansion, Uncle Samkid prepares for a party, scaring Home briefly with his outfit. Uncle Samkid advises him that to build a team, he needs to know his teammates' lives. Taking the advice, Home goes with Suradek to Peach's house the next day. He sees Peach rushing out with Pang Pang and follows them, to find that they are kidnapping the old man who sold ghost kits. Home is stunned and thinks Peach and Pang Pang are dangerous individuals. Then he sees Peach pulling out a knife and panics, thinking Peach is going to murder the man. But Peach just cuts the ropes tying the man up. Peach then explains that this old man is Rock's former boss, the one who fired her. Peach believes that an apology from him will bring Rock peace, but the man insists, saying Rock really did steal an expensive wig. This leads to another fight between Peach and Home, and Rock possesses Pang Pang in her anger. Under Rock's control, Pang Pang attacks them and Peach faints from fear. Home carries Peach and seeks shelter in a room. He slaps Peach awake and asks how to save Pang Pang. That's when Peach realizes Rock possessed Pang Pang to deliver a message, since Peach can see ghosts but not hear them. Soon enough, Pang Pang, who is still possessed, finds them and shoves Home to the ground, trying to get to Peach. She is mumbling something, but it doesn't make any sense to Peach. Just then, Khan appears with a monk who turns out to be Rock's old boyfriend. He reveals the entire truth about Rock was impoverished and tried hard to look after her mother. Despite the fact that she is suffering, people adored her because of her appearance and long hair, especially her boyfriend. However, Rock discovered she had terminal cancer, and her hair had started falling out. In her despair to regain her former self, she got a wig in the factory that resembled her hair and secretly tried it on in the bathroom, wanting to appear lovely one last time. The manager had found out, accuses her of theft, firing her on the spot. Devastated, Rock killed herself in the bathroom, humiliated beyond what she could ever bear. When she died, her boyfriend left the factory to be a monk in order to help bring her peace. But even he doesn't know what Rock wants for herself. Hearing this story, Peach finally understands that Rock does not care about revenge or apologies. She just wants to see herself with her beautiful hair one last time. Peach and Khan quickly make a wig and offer it to Rock's ghost. Rock's spirit is overjoyed and her dying wish is finally fulfilled. At that moment, Khan receives a call from someone who wants to buy Home's factory. Everyone is delighted. Then they take old uniforms that they found in the factory and create an advertisement using them, turning themselves into a type of Ghostbusters by helping people buy haunted houses. Back home, Peach and his sister wait, a bit unsure of their new job. Peach is not sure he can always help the spirits. Then Home shows up, delivering them their first pay and volunteering to obtain the compensation money for Rack's mother. Peach and Pang Pang are overjoyed to discover Home is not so bad after all. Meanwhile, when Khan discusses the compensation with Mr. Yai, he warns her to think carefully about business. He says they can't waste Mr. Samai's money on just anyone. They need to consider their own benefits too. Hearing this makes Khan feel a bit uneasy. It seems like she realizes that this family definitely has many dark secrets. Moving forward, a bike rider arrives at Mr. Samai's hotel in heavy rain to deliver a parcel, wearing a black helmet. The receptionist lets him in but asks him to remove the helmet before going further. As soon as the rider removes the helmet, the receptionist is terrified because the rider's head is missing. He is a headless ghost. On another side, Pong Pong reviews a ghost tracker machine during her live stream. The machine is facing the bathroom, so Pong Pong opens the door but finds only Peach there, indicating that the machine is faulty. Then their landlord starts shouting outside the room, demanding rent. Pong Pong has already used up their whole salary on the ghost tracker though, so they promptly hide behind the curtain, waiting for the landlord to leave. But Peach spots a ghost behind the curtain and screams, because of which they get caught and the landlord throws them out of the house. With no other choice, they seek Home's help and head to his mansion. Home invites them to stay, but on one condition, that Peach must compliment him first by telling Home that he is kind and handsome. Peach reluctantly complies, and Home rewards them by offering shelter in the basement of the mansion. He even gets them to sign a contract, which Pang Pang does without reading. Then Home teases them that, according to the contract, they'll only get 1% of the profit gained on selling ghost-free homes. They panic until they're told that 1% translates to $1 million, and so they celebrate all again. However, the contract does have one more requirement. Peach and Pang Pang must do whatever Home says. To try them out, Home makes Peach sing, which he awkwardly does. Then they set to work, exorcising the ghost of the bike rider. The four of them head to Mr. Samai's hotel, where Khan explains that the residents have noticed a helmeted figure appearing only during the rain, causing haunted incidents, which leads to the hotel's closure. The rider had died in a road accident on August 30th, losing his head in the crash, which explains why the receptionist couldn't see the rider's face under the helmet. Peach asks whether they'll have to wait for the rain, but Home already has a strategy. Suradet comes in with a pipe, creating fake rain with a water pipe, which Peach and Pang Pang find ridiculous, but actual rain starts pouring, and as they're exploring around the hotel, Peach spots the ghost rider. The three of them panic and hide behind a shelf. Home tells Peach to make something as part of their plan, but Peach had left all of his cooking equipment in the car. Rushing, he makes coffee in an old machine and nervously serves it to the ghost. Home asks Peach to describe where he sees the ghost's face, but Peach finds that the ghost is holding his severed head in his hand. Peach faints out of fear, and Pang Pang slaps him back to consciousness. Meanwhile, the rider has drawn even closer, so they all run to their car. As they run in, Peach frantically tells Home to drive the car since the rider is right ahead of them, but Home won't drive. The rider approaches and they're all scared until the rain also ceases and the ghost disappears. Later they return home and Khan teases them for having been scared like kids. Pang Pang reminds Khan that she was the one who screamed the loudest in the car. It is then that a gas burner gets delivered to the basement, but Home reminds them that they can't use the gas burner there because he doesn't want anything to happen to his property, so he tells them to make do with the microwave alone. He then proceeds to his mansion for lunch because he always gets food from outside. But when he arrives to eat, he doesn't want to eat by himself, so he places a small portion of food in front of his grandpa's picture and starts eating. Suddenly, Home is scared by a loud thunder and carries his bed and pillow downstairs with him to Peach and Pang Pang. Pang Pang teases him, saying he came down because he's scared, but Home acts as if he went down for something else. Pang Pang goes to shower while Home makes a personal confession to Peach that since his parents died, he never ate at home and always ate outside because he hated eating alone. When Peach overhears this, he feels sorry for Home, so he assigns him some vegetables to wash. But Home, a spoiled child who never learned how to cook, looks for soap. Peach thinks that he should keep Home away from the kitchen. They then discuss the ghost biker. Peach notices that there was a paper bag and a rose in the rider's hand, which means the delivery was to a special person. Since the ghost always appears at the palace, they guess he had to have been delivering a parcel to one of the residents. If they can determine who, they can deliver the last parcel. Home calls Khan for resident details, but Mr. Yai refuses to share information about Mr. Samai's property. Uncle Sumkid overhears this and tells Mr. Yai to help Khan. The team checks the residents' details, thinking the parcel might be for a woman. They call every female resident but find no clues. Peach recalls the biker's demise later and contacts one of the occupants who may know about him. It was Tan, a trans woman who stayed in the palace all by herself for years. Tan recalled the biker sending her food on a rainy day and becoming familiar with him. Tan had opened up to him about her feelings, but got no response from him, and had since then moved to a different place. Peach and Home tell how the rider had died on Tan's birthday while he was on his way to give her a special gift since he liked her to. Tan is in shock, and when she opens the last package, finds a rice and meat house inside. She remembers telling the rider that she would allow him to stay with her once she had her own house. Her eyes are brimming with tears, and Peach senses the ghost of the rider next to her. As Tan is enjoying the last meal with the ghost of the rider, his desire is fulfilled and he leaves. Home eats alone at home, but being lonely, takes his food to the basement. Pang Pang tells him that Peach also prepared food for him, and Home is touched by this. He offers them an electric stove and a better house, but Peach declines, saying he's grown used to the basement. This makes Home remember when his grandpa gave him a special place to play. He joins them for dinner, being happy. Meanwhile, Uncle Sumkid and Mr. Yai discuss what they should do to Home. Sumkid recommends they give him freedom, but keep him under observation. The next day, Home and his gang visit an old hut his grandpa bought. No one has lived in it because of the ghost of the former owner. Home even reports it on a radio station to gain some publicity. The team decides to trap the ghost, but Peach does not feel anything strange and they capture no ghost. Home, having already publicized the ghost house, insists they stay the night until they obtain proof. Pang Pang agrees, and they spend the night there. At nighttime, Khan screams upon seeing a ghost in the mirror, and the words "Get out" in blood pop up. They panic at the sight of this, and when Peach pushes Pang Pang out of the way of a falling shelf, he injures his leg. The team escapes. But outside, they see the ghost of the former owner of the house. Later, Khan finds a file in the mansion with former renter information. She emails the file to Home, and Peach asks if they saw a little girl with the ghost. Home denies it, but Peach feels that something is wrong. They head home and repeat everything from the night before. This time, they hear commotion behind the mirror. Suradek catches the owner, who happens to be a magician using magic tricks to scare people away. The magician claims he did it because his daughter, who was bedridden with illness, liked his magic tricks. When she passed away, he believed that her soul stayed with him, and he uses his illusions to keep people away so that he can stay close to her. All are sentimental after hearing this, but only Pang Pang truly feels his grief. Peach then cooks a fried egg for the magician's daughter and stages a magic show for him so that he can perform his best illusion. The performance is concluded by the magician, and Peach observes the ghost of the daughter cheering happily. At the end of the show, the magician becomes sad, thinking if his daughter has seen the show, but when he goes to check on her bed, he finds a fried egg with a star drawn on it, just as she used to make. She had promised him that if ever she left, she would leave that star to remind him that she was never far away from him. Getting his daughter at peace, the magician wells up in tears, and the whole team of people becomes sentimental. Later, Pang Pang apologizes to Peach for getting hurt because of her. Peach comforts her by saying she's the best assistant their team could ever ask for, not because she has a special talent, but because she's amazing. Home lets the magician live rent-free, knowing he needs a place to live, but Home is worried about Peach. He notices Peach's hand shaking after cooking always. Later, when Peach is in the kitchen preparing food, a photo falls from the refrigerator and his hand shakes again. Simultaneously, Khan, who has stolen an envelope from the workplace, finds a pen drive with an audio file. On listening to it, she gets to hear Samkid and Puchong discuss a murder along a restaurant site, a piece of information that Samkid was hiding, which left Khan reeling. Peach has a terrible nightmare and wakes up scared. Pang Pang tries to calm him down, saying that already 3 years have passed since his accident, but Peach just can't seem to erase some memories. The next day, Khan sends the coordinates of their next exorcism to Peach, but he is scared when he refuses to join them. Khan and Home head to the coordinates alone. Turns out it is a restaurant that was run by Chef Hong 3 years ago. Chef Hong had invited Mr. Chai-Yun, who was a celebrity, to test her foods. He developed an allergic reaction to food she served, and on getting hate, Chef Hong attempted suicide by releasing gas in her kitchen. Home knows he requires Peach and Pang Pang's assistance, so he goes to see them alone, as Khan has work to do. When he informs them about where the location is, both refuses to go, as it relates to Peach's history. Meanwhile, Khan confronts Puchong and plays the recording to him, saying she will leak it if he doesn't provide her with the case file of the restaurant. Puchong cautions her that the individuals involved are risky. Home then sends messages to Pang Pang in an attempt to convince her, but she lies to him and says they are away. Khan and Suradek, however, arrive at the restaurant where Pang Pang is and take her with them. They show her a photo of Chef Hong and Peach is in it. That is when Pang Pang admits that 3 years ago Peach had worked with Chef Hong so that he could be a well-known chef. Chef Hong did believe in this guy and presented him with the chance to create a special meal for Mr. Chai-Yun. She gave him a hint that Mr. Chai-Yun is allergic to beans. Peach was more than willing to show himself, but on the very same evening, he got run over by a car. His heart stopped, but he got revived and he has been seeing spirits ever since. The first ghost that he saw was a patient who died that morning. Peach came to the restaurant the following day, but during cooking, he spotted the ghost of Mr. Chai-Yun's daughter. Disturbed, he put soybeans in the dish accidentally, and Mr. Chai-Yun had a severe allergic reaction. The blame fell on Chef Hong, and the restaurant was forced to close down. Peach was in guilt, so he delivered Chef Hong a dish and a photograph with the intention to apologize. She invited him to the restaurant, but upon his arrival, he discovered that she had killed herself. Poor Peach fainted, devastated, and even saw Chef Hong's ghost. Since then, his hands shake when he cooks, and Home is embarrassed to have forced him to come. Home visits the restaurant to ask Hong's ghost to forgive Peach. He sees the gas burner's contact number and returns to warn Peach that if he does not confront Hong's ghost, They will be sent back to their old house with nothing. Home is going to invest $50 million in the restaurant, and so Peach has no choice but to go back. Home leaves Peach alone in the kitchen waiting near the door with Pang Pang. When Peach starts cooking, the ghost of Chef Hong manifests, and Peach ends up cutting his finger. In a state of panic, he rushes to Home, begging him to open the door, that he cannot cook because he is guilty about Hong's demise. Home tells Peach that he does not believe Hong's death was because of him. He questioned the man who carried the gas cylinder. The man said that Hong, who had been inspired by Peach's note, did not tie the gas cylinder well, and hence caused the leak. It was not his fault. Now all Peach needs to do is cook one perfect dish for Hong, which is her last desire, that Peach never lose his dream of being a chef. Peach cooks and serves the dish to Chef Hong's ghost, who smiles and then finally settles down. Home comes over to bandage Peach's finger and asks whether he remembered anything about the car that hurt him 3 years ago. Peach says that he was not able to identify the driver, but remembers it being a yellow sports car. Home is shocked, but does not comment. He goes home and removes the wrap from a yellow sports car. It is his. Khan gets a video from Puchong of the CCTV footage at the restaurant during the accident night. Khan is amazed to see that the driver who crashed into Peach and came out from the car was Home. Home's grandfather used his authority and deleted the proof, and Home managed to evade being caught. Since the discovery of the truth, Home has been haunted by Peach in his dreams. Home goes to Peach and Pang Pang in the morning while they are relating the cases that have been cracked. Khan realizes Home had found the truth by his disheveled appearance and smartly advises the team on taking a break for a week. Then, as Home is cooling off, Khan advises him that if she were standing in his place, she'd have apologized and confessed to Peach, because if something becomes known about it by itself, then things would go horribly wrong. But Home himself is scared of confessing and is dreading being sent to prison. One night when he can't sleep, he goes to Peach's house and asks Huim whether he'd condeer forgiving someone who hurt him. Peach reacts that he would not forgive them but would get back at them by realizing his dreams and proving them wrong. When Home asks Peach what his dream is, Peach says he just wishes to cook a 4-course meal for a celebrity. Assuming this is a small wish, Home arranges for Peach and Pang Pang to go to the palace of Mr. Chayun for an impromptu cooking show, where Pang Pang will host and Peach will cook dinner for Mr. Chayun, so that Peach can get to live his dream. Peach serves his first course, a soup, to Mr. Chayun and identifies ghosts of his entire family as patrons seated at the table. Peach tells the soup's story, with a hidden reference to his name, and Mr. Chayun, initially wary, praises it. As Peach prepares the second dish with Home's help, he names his accident as his inspiration. Peach afterwards fries allergy-free beans intended for Mr. Chayun, but mixes them up with normal beans accidentally. He nervously asks Home for assurance so as not to fail. Mr. Chayun, frustrated and tardy, grouses about a deceased relative enraging their ghost. Peach and Home then present the second course, in which Mr. Chayun hesitates, but at last eats the beans after Peach tells him it's all right. Peach is praised, and the dessert is presented with "Forgive me not" written on it. Mr. Chayun forgives Peach, and Peach can finally breathe, feeling accomplished. Then Home is going to apologize for everything, but Peach thanks him for fulfilling his dream. Peach asks Home what his dream is, and Home tells him he just wants a regular life with a family. Peach tells him that he and Pang Pang are his family, which makes Home feel guilty. He spends the night making pancakes, writing "Forgive me not" on them, but before he can give them to Peach, Khan makes the accident video go viral. The accident is actually true, as it appears in the video that Home wasn't drunk but distracted by his cheating ex on the phone. He didn't intentionally hit Peach, but taking his uncle's advice left him there. Everyone believed Home was drunk, but that's not the case. Home scrambles to try to explain, but when he shows up at Peach's doorstep in his basement, it turns out that Mr. Yai had made both of them sign a contract agreeing not to tell anyone about the accident. Peach, feeling that this was all orchestrated by Home, refused the cash offered by the attorney and went back with his sister to their old restaurant home. Upon hearing the news, Aunt Phone scolds Home for being irresponsible and childish. Home then makes up his mind to sell the mansion, and Pang Pang, while streaming, asks Peach if he will ever talk to Home again. Peach, still angry, says that he may forgive him if Home apologizes at his house. At that moment, someone knocks on the door. It is Foom, who needs Peach's help with a property. Suredek, seeing Pang Pang's stream, misses them. Meanwhile, Home is offering for sale a dance school and has hung talismans to ward off ghosts, but Foom, who is interested in buying it, is ready to see the ghost himself. Home tries to talk to Peach, but Peach remains angry. Peach insists Home get to know the property buyers, who are keen on conversing with the ghost, not scaring it away. Peach makes his favorite soup for the ghost, that of a classical dancer who killed himself, When the ghost fails to show up, Home understands the talismans are hindering it. Everyone takes off the talismans and Pang Pang recites a poem that was written in blood, and a ghost called Visha appears to dance. Even after Peach serves the ghost the soup, it does not stop dancing or talk to anyone. Peach challenges Foom to tell him the truth, convinced he's holding something back from him. Foom eventually comes clean and explains that 23 years ago he went to visit the school over summer break and became close pals with Visha. They had fallen in love, promising to never be parted, but during summer, Foom promised to return and have fun together. Visha patiently waited, drawing lines on a tree to mark the days. But when Foom returned for his final performance with his mother, he pushed Visha aside when Visha attempted to hold his hand. Foom departed, and his mother, now aware that he was gay, kept him from meeting Visha again. Foom was shipped abroad to study, and when he came back, he found that Visha had taken his own life after cutting his wrists and writing a poem in blood. Visha died performing his last dance, and his spirit never slept. Foom wishes he had been more courageous and said goodbye. Peach and the others are upset, but Peach has an idea. He and Home wear traditional dance costumes and dance Visha and Foom's favorite dance. Visha's ghost appears and dances with them, and in the dance, Foom demonstrates that he still loves Visha. Visha's ghost is happy, picturing them together in his mind. Although his ghost remains at the dance school, Foom is no longer disturbed, aware that Visha is no longer harming anyone. Foom buys the house, and Home and the others go back. Home plans to apologize to Peach, realizing he should have done it like Foom. But Peach is not yet ready to talk. Uncle Somkid invites Home for a drink at home. Later in the night, Peach unblocks Home from his phone, no longer angry, and then the doorbell rang. Peach thinks he's come to apologize, but when Peach opens the door, Home doesn't say a word. Peach tells him to leave if he doesn't have anything to say. At that moment, Peng Peng asks Peach who he's talking to, and Peach receives a call stating Home was involved in a car accident. After taking to his uncle, Home was on his way to apologize to Peach for what had occurred, but had an accident on his way. At the hospital, the doctor informs them that alcohol was found in Home's blood, which caused the accident, and that his heart had stopped functioning for a brief period. His organs are otherwise healthy, but he must wake up now. When Anfon arrives at the hospital, she is first criticizing Home, then she starts overacting in front of the journalists, talking about taking care of the house after Home leaves. Some kid tells Peach that Home was going to apologize, and that makes him sorrowful. Peach decides that they have to find the person who leaked the video. Peach recalls Home's soul may be visiting him to ask for help. Peach, Khan, and Peng Peng are on their way to find Home's ghost. A squad of reporters heads in their direction, but Peng Peng slips and puts up an act to get everyone's attention, while Peach and Khan sneak behind the journalists unnoticed. Khan overheard people saying how greedy Home's family was, and immediately recalled seeing Home as a child, when she was a kid. Peach and Peng Peng head to Home's mansion and learn from the maids that Home had not consumed any alcohol, yet it was included in the reports. They search for him but fail to locate him. Peach is guilty of having sent Home away, and then they receive a call that Home's condition has worsened. Meanwhile, Can finds a camera in the damaged car of Home containing evidence of the accident and lies to Peach that she has found nothing. She remembers seeing Home when she was a child, but he didn't remember her. At the hospital, Peach and Peng Peng learn that Home is dying, and he could die any time. Having no other option, Peng Peng suggests that Peach perform a ritual. According to the custom, Peach must cook food for Home because he yearns for home-cooked food. Peng Peng delivers the materials to the hospital, and Peach puts a string around Home's little finger and ties it to his pot, hoping the smell would bring back his soul to his body. Suratek and Peng Peng distract the crowd meanwhile, so the room is secure. Home's soul, who is in his basement, meets his grandfather, and he comforts him. Home is aware that he's dead, but wants to go back to his grandfather away from people bullying him. His grandfather tells him that it's not his fault but a family curse, and he needs to fix it. He reassures Home that it's not his time yet, since his friends still need him. Hearing this, Home decides to return and break the family curse. Home's grandfather asks him to perform a dance he performed when he was a kid. As Home dances, his soul flows to the hospital, guided by the aroma of Peach's food. Home's soul arrives at the hospital, but security notices Peng Peng pretending to be pregnant, and so the nurse removes the string on Home's finger. Morning comes, and Home's soul starts to lose strength, and his body stops responding. Peach, crying, watches Home's demise, but Home's soul regains the strength to come back to his body. Home's body responds, and he wakes up. The first thing he does is say sorry to Peach and Peng Peng. Peach tearfully hugs him, and their friendship resumes. Home tells Peach and Pang Pang that he met up with his grandfather, who brought him back to put an end to the family curse and restore their honor. He asks for their help but warns them not to involve Khan, whom he accuses of being behind this because she was present around his car when the accident happened. Meanwhile, Uncle Sumkid discovers the Klong project file missing and that it has been stolen by Khan. She shows it to Polk, along with footage of the crash, demonstrating her family's motive for revenge. Turns out that Khan's father was a candy man who resided in the Klong slum. Home's grandfather wanted to buy the property in order to build an avenue, with promises of new apartments and shops for the residents. But Home's family altered the contract, robbing the residents of what was promised. Khan's father, along with the rest, protested, but his health deteriorated and Khan had to look after him. Home, Peach, and Pang Pang know that Khan seeks revenge, but are shocked at her causing the automobile accident, which pushes Home to face her. Khan hides the original Klong project papers within a locker and rallies a protest. Peach and Pang Pang disguise Home as a girl and they all slip into the protest. Pang Pang cries out loudly in protest, grabbing the attention of the crowd. They are brought into a room where Peach discovers photos of Home, Peach, Pang Pang, and Suratek. The people of the slums had been searching for them. Poke strips off Home's disguise and refuses to release him. Home pleads that he does not want to fight and is willing to return the contract to seek justice and clear his grandfather's name. He finds out that Aunt Phone, and not his grandfather, had cheated people into signing fake contracts. The villagers finally believe him, and so they let him visit Khan's office. Khan is not there, but they find out she's been watching Home. A man nearby explains that Khan's father's health worsened due to stress from the land issue, and workers on Aunt Phone's orders kept him from visiting the hospital, hastening his decline. They later see Khan's father in bed, and Peach sees his ghost. Home is distraught from the ghost's appearance, and Khan arrives, forcing them to leave. Peach, still suspicious, returns with Home to Khan's father's bedroom. They try to call his ghost, but Peach struggles to understand its movements. Meanwhile, Khan catches Pang Pang and Suradech. She discovers Peach and Home are still in her office. When she confronts them, Home shocks her by saying, "You should make lots of friends," a phrase her father always said to her, but she still doesn't believe him. Meanwhile, the Klong project file is stolen by someone, and there is a fire at where Pang Pang and Suradech are trapped. The mob accuses Home, but Khan intervenes. Home is upset when her father becomes seriously ill, but Home does CPR and rescues him. Khan then reveals that she never made the car accident happen. Instead, she summoned an ambulance when she discovered Home injured, not wishing revenge to reach that point. Witnessing Home rescue her father alters her view. Peach makes contact with Khan's face with a piece of candy, recalling her father's desire for her to befriend someone. Khan collapses, aware that her father has died by this gesture. Aunt Fawn is discovered to have stolen the Klong project papers and bribed Poke to cause trouble. Khan's father's ghost knocks Poke, getting revenge for the betrayal. Khan forgives Home and they have dinner. She says that the curse could not be connected to the Klong project as it still has not worn off. At this point, Aunt Fawn is shown practicing black magic, and Home collapses in pain. He wakes up in the hospital, where he hears strange sounds. He can hear ghosts after the accident, which makes Pang Pang happy, since now 2 people can sense spirits. Ready to clear his family's name and figure out who's hurting them, Home begins questioning. Khan brings him to Aunt Fawn's residence, explaining that she had known where the Klong project documents were because the car that hit Home belonged to Aunt Fawn. They sneak into the house, and they can see evidence of black magic. Before they are able to put everything together, a ghost possesses Peach and drags him out, causing the group to flee for their lives. When Aunt Fawn returns, she sees the sign of the break-in and the video footage of Home and the others, which infuriates her. Meanwhile, Pang Pang sprinkles holy water over Peach to revive him. Peach informs them that he saw a lot of ghosts being controlled by someone. Khan leads them to a picture in the garden where they see occult materials employed for black magic. They realize that Aunt Fawn is performing dangerous occult rituals and controlling ghosts in haunted houses. Peach is called by his friend Best and told that he's choking at Home. The same thing is happening to the other homeowners. Aunt Phone is responsible, and she even killed her assistant. Khan orders the police to track down the car responsible for Home's accident, but Aunt Phone uses her black magic to hide it, so the police remain in the dark. To get further evidence, Holmes summons Pak, who tells them that Aunt Phone employed him to organize supplies for her black magic, with the assistance of an assistant. One day, the assistant vanished, and when Pak inquired, Aunt Phone stated that she had sent her away for being unfaithful. Peach understands that the ghost whom he saw chained in the garden is the assistant. They decide to head back home. Hung plans to broadcast their journey there, knowing Aunt Phone will not dare do anything on TV. She tries to use her black magic necklace, but Pang Pang sprays holy water at her and Home, rendering her powerless. Home discovers a hidden wall upstairs, but when he opens the cover, he does not see anything as Aunt Phone made the ghost of the assistant, Ben, block his way. Aunt Phone is pretending to be innocent, but Home accuses her of killing the assistant. She orders the assistant ghost to assault Home. Even holy water does not work. Later on, the assistant becomes rebellious against Aunt Phone. Home admits that it was their ghost hunting team who helped the ghost, and Peach releases the soul of the assistant by offering her the food she adores, breaking Aunt Phone's spell. Home and Pang Pang find a secret door leading to Aunt Phone's black magic room. Aunt Fawn tries to attack again with her necklace, but Peach understands that the necklace is the source of her power. When Peach removes it from around her neck, Aunt Fawn loses her powers. Home and Peach eliminate all the black magic devices and retrieve the Klong Project documents. Aunt Fawn tries to escape, but she is caught by the police, collecting all the evidence. Home is debt-free from his family now since the mission is complete, and he and his friends celebrate at their Ghostbuster company. Home has sold off all his properties apart from the Ghostbuster company and his mansion. He tells his uncle that he would like to leave the mansion to Peach and Pang Pang so that they always have a home to return to. At this time, Peach receives a job offer at a prestigious restaurant far from home, which implies that he could stay with Pang Pang. Peach delivers the news with happiness and sadness. Home pretends to be excited for Peach, but his forced happiness unnerves Peach. He is questioning whether Home does not care about their memories together. In reality, Home is heartbroken because he finally had friends who were like family. Khan notices Home's depression and recommends that he be honest to Peach and ask him to stay, but Home reassures him that if he were in his place, he would not discourage his best friend from chasing his dream. Home leaves for the cremation ceremony of his grandfather because his grandfather had asked to be cremated 100 days after his death without anyone missing him. Then, after the ceremony, Home will return to America. All of the candles in front of his grandfather's photo suddenly go out that night. Flashbacks show how Home's grandfather always taught him to find the true meaning of home, which Home now realizes is being with people he would consider family, like Peach and Pang Pang. The next day, Home's uncle and the others are clearing out the mansion, sending Grandpa's belongings to Uncle Sumkid's house. They all wonder why Home hasn't come out of his room. Meanwhile, Peach and Pang Pang discuss quitting the business, but Pang Pang encourages Peach to talk to Home once more. Peach visits the mansion, but Home avoids him, leaving Peach waiting in vain. Uncle Sumkid and Home visit the police station afterwards and speak with Aunt Fun. Furious, she tells Home that like his grandfather, he is going to hell, implying that Grandpa did not die naturally. Home is shocked as Uncle Sumkid has the police arrest Aunt Fun. Home tells Uncle Sumkid that he will sell the mansion and move to America, but lighten Aunt Fun's punishment since his loving grandfather would not have wished for her to endure so much. At the mansion, Peach is cleaning up when Khan stops him from leaving and informs him that Home is distant because he's angry that Peach is going away. Peach assumes Home is hiding something, but as he is about to leave, Peach sees Grandpa's ghost floating above on the second floor, and Home is left stunned. The following morning, Home attempts to set off early, but Uncle Sumkid interrupts him, questioning him about where he's going. Home confesses that he's heading for the hospital to look at his grandfather's corpse. Uncle Sumkid sends a man to accompany him, and in the instant when Home is with his grandfather, Peach appears. He admonishes Home for ignoring him, prompting a slight exchange of words between them. In the late evening, the lawyer discloses that he has been secretly working for Uncle Sumkid all this while, keeping Home under surveillance. Uncle Sumkid announces that there is one more thing he wants to do for Home, something special. The next evening, Uncle Sumkid arranges an exclusive dinner for Home, with Peach preparing it, in the hope of reconciling them. Home goes off to the bathroom, and as soon as he disappears, the lights at the mansion start flickering and Grandpa's photo falls on the ground. Uncle Sumkid goes upstairs to pick it up and sees Grandpa's ghost, but Peach calls him back down to dinner. During dinner, Uncle Sumkid expresses how he adores Home and informs him that he's one of the family and that he'll always remember this dinner. But Home is about to take a bite when the lights go off, and Grandpa's ghost appears and points at Uncle Sumkid, showing that he killed him. Home is suspended in the air, and Uncle Sumkid is stunned and has no idea what is happening. Desperate, Uncle Sumkid throws a frame at Grandpa's ghost. But that is when the truth unfolds that Home, Peach, and the rest set all this up with the help of a magician. After Aunt Fawn mentioned Grandpa's death, Home shared everything with Peach. The day Home was in Grandpa's room, he heard Grandpa's ghost speak about breaking the curse. Home and Peach walk over Grandpa's body and notice his darkened fingertips, a sign of poisoning, which makes them suspect Uncle Sumkid. They would like Uncle Sumkid to prove his innocence by taking the same medicine he administered to Grandpa. The truth comes out when Uncle Sumkid refuses, cracking down and confessing that he murdered Grandpa by overdosing him, hoping that Grandpa would fall ill and be reliant on him, but killed him instead. Uncle Sumkid apologizes and tells Home that Grandpa left him many things which he can get at Uncle Sumkid's house, after which he will turn himself in. Home agrees and follows him, but while searching for the house key, Uncle Sumkid regretfully reveals that Grandpa never loved him, which makes Home uneasy. In a shock, Uncle Sumkid attacks Home with a brick and knocks him out. As Pong Pong and Suradek eat breakfast, Suradek becomes sick after eating Home's food. Uncle Sumkid had poisoned Home's food to kill him. With Home unconscious now, Uncle Sumkid plots to carry out his deed at home. Khan, Peach, and Pang Pang are trapped by the lawyer, who favors Uncle Sumkid, and frames Peach for poisoning Home, and Peach panics. Home, slowly gaining consciousness, sees Uncle Sumkid preparing to kill him. Home asks why Uncle Sumkid hates him, and Uncle Sumkid shares with him a story of resentment towards Home's father, Jai. When Sumkid and Jai were kids, their dad Samai loved them equally, but Sumkid always thought their dad loved Jai more. He tried to gain his father's approval, thinking he would finally get it after Jai died, but even after his passing, Samai focused all his attention to Home. Now, Uncle Sumkid is bitter that Home will inherit everything and plans to kill him to keep everything himself. While Uncle Sumkid is about to strangle Home, the lawyer calls to remind him to hide the brick. Uncle Sumkid returns, but meanwhile Home escapes and hides. Peach gets himself arrested to buy time for Khan and Pong Pong. Khan follows the lawyer and catches him trying to destroy the brick evidence. The lawyer proudly admits everything, from faking Home's accident, forging reports, to destroying the Klong project on Uncle Sumkid's orders, which Khan separately records. Back at home, Uncle Sumkid finds Home and throttles him, thinking he had succeeded, but Peach arrives in time and stops him, though badly injured. As the struggle continues, the old money bank falls, dispersing bank diaries. Home tells Uncle Sumkid that these diaries contain the truth, that Grandpa had opened a savings account for Uncle Sumkid and had been adding money to it for years, showing how much he loved him. Grandpa's wealth was willed to Home to teach him business, not because he loved Uncle Sumkid any less. Filled with guilt, Uncle Sumkid surrenders when Khan and Peng Peng arrive with the police. Sumkid, the lawyer, and Aunt Fun subsequently confess their offenses. Home peacefully continues Grandpa's cremation ceremony as Grandpa had wished. Home decides not to sell the mansion, keeping it as a memory of Grandpa. Peach and Peng Peng pack to leave for another town, but Peach surprises Home by staying behind. Home is beyond happy and decides not to return to America. Instead, they turn their business into a family restaurant with Peach working as the chef. Home finds his true family in his friends. On the restaurant's opening day, Home gives Peach a logo with the restaurant's name. In the final scene, Peach asks Home if he now understands what home is. Home responds that home is where he felt belonged, and for him, it's the restaurant with the best people in his life. Whether karma or fate, Home knows he will never be alone again, and so the drama ends on a non-spooky note.